It's time to focus on the things you need, the things you deserve. You deserve a healthy body, supplements that get you moving and keep you moving, that make you feel good, look good, do good. And they shouldn't contain GMOs, artificial ingredients, or heavy metals, ever. Supplements that are clinically studied, use proven absorption technologies, are designed by scientists, and are ethically sourced and produced. Supplements with everything you need, nothing you don't. You deserve a company that you can trust, that's dedicated to safe manufacturing practices and third-party testing, that ensures the highest quality of effectiveness from extraction of ingredients all the way to the composition of the packaging. Wait a second. You deserve to see the process. You deserve a company led by a CEO with a deep belief in the power of people, dedicated to inspiring entrepreneurs to achieve success. A company with a phytonutrient chemist and expert on natural molecules who is obsessed with human health and has your best interest in mind to design its products. A board comprised of talented doctors from around the world. You deserve to be surrounded by people you trust and look up to. Empowered ambassadors that inspire wellness every day. Leaders who are rooting for you to be the best version of yourself. A community that works hard and plays hard. You deserve to experience adventures that take you around the world, and you deserve to be recognized for your hard work. It's time to get what you deserve. It's time to shift your focus. 3.
Well, hello and welcome everyone. I am Adrianne Carbonell. I am chiming in from Austin, Texas, and I want to welcome everybody here on our Empowerment Tuesday. So this is a great call. It's one of my favorite Zooms that we do each week, where you get to hear from, a top leader in the company sharing a success tip and a mindset tip and how we can really help you win big in 3. So if there's anybody in your team that you guys want on tonight, send them a quick reminder to jump on, because we are getting started. And tonight we are going to be talking all about owning your voice and sharing your story with confidence. And that is one thing I really had to wrap my head around, okay? Because when I first started in this industry, and really I've been in marketing and sales for years, and it doesn't matter who you work for, what you're doing, traditional business, non-traditional business, e-commerce business, online, whatever, right? You have to learn how to sort of pitch yourself. You have to learn how to pitch your story, cast a vision with clarity and purpose, and really be able to share with confidence why you are doing what you're doing. Right? Would you agree with that? And I would, because let me just tell you again, from just being in business for a lot of years, and not a ton, but enough to know that has been the most powerful piece. I remember one time sitting in a room full of other entrepreneurs and networkers, and we had 30 seconds each in a round table to go around and share. Maybe you guys are a part of like a B2B group or something like that, where you are, pitching, what your business is, and you have 30 seconds to do it, things like that, right? If you've ever done that, I mean, I think that's something that you should all experience at some point, because I remember I was terrified to speak up. I was trying to fit everything in these tiny 30 seconds. And there's a right way to do it, and there's kind of a wrong way to do it. I've learned, but either way, doing it and getting your story out there and told is the most important piece. So I'm going to share my story with you real quick in a condensed version before we get started. And I just wanted to, just to kind of throw this out there. I wrote this up today, and it took me 30 seconds. I actually ran it through ChatGPT. Is anyone using ChatGPT? It's one of my favorite things. So when you guys are having a great experience in 3, you can help put some of those things into ChatGPT and have it help you write a great, compelling story as well. So from single mom to millionaire in MLM, that's me. All right. So I started this journey as a single mom 16 years ago with more doubt than dollars. I didn't have experience, just a deep desire to create a better life for my girls. Network marketing gave me the chance to build something on my own terms. I started scared, but stayed consistent. I started scared, but I stayed consistent and I leaned into growth. I showed up daily and I choose faith over fear every single day in this industry. And today, I'm a multimillionaire leading a global team and helping others rise too. This isn't just a success story, it's proof that with purpose, grit, and belief, anything is possible. If I can do it, so can you. So that is my 30-second pitch if I were to share that today. And if you can't tell, I really do own that. Like that is my story. It is written well, thanks to ChatGPT, and a little bit of practice. But it's empowering for me every time I share it. I almost am like, whoa, is that me? Is that I just used, I was just a young 28-year-old when I started in this industry. So you can imagine, it feels a little bit imposterish to me almost that I'm like, is this real? Did I do that? And so, yeah, you own it, and it feels so good to own that. So, okay, so grab a pen and a piece of paper because this is going to be interactive, and I'm going to share with you really my deep dive thoughts on this and how we can help you really win big here and own your voice, share your story with confidence, and really empower your mindset as you move through your e-commerce business. Now, this is something that leaders have pat down. It is a leadership piece. It is something that it's a skill set to be able to have this and to share this. And guess what? It changes and it grows as you evolve in this industry. My story that I just shared with you was not the story I shared when I first started. The story I first shared when I started was basically about my product experience and where I saw myself going, right? So we're going to dive into that. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of time to grab a notepad and a pen and a piece of paper so we can get to work. Okay. So, because right, in order for change to occur, we have to take action. So I feel like there's a written connection when you start writing things, a heart-brain connection when you start writing things down. So let's dive in. So there are 3 keys to storytelling success. 3 keys. The first one is it's your inner game. Your inner game drives your outer resources. It drives your resilience, your belief, and ultimately how you go from, brand ambassador to mega leader is really owning that. So we're going to master our inner game. Why? Because we have to be resilient. E-commerce involves rejection. Sometimes it's a slow start. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a pyramid scheme. This is a valid income opportunity with viable products and a compensation plan to boot. And yeah, you know what? Your paycheck is direct related oftentimes to the amount of times you share your story and the 3 story in a day. So it helps when you can push through and you create a great story. When you share that great story with people, it cannot be disputed. It's very powerful and it creates resilience because your personal experience cannot be disputed, right? That's why it's so powerful. So if you don't believe you have a compelling story in your product or your opportunity, then guess what? They won't either. They won't either. You call your friend to share with them why you're so excited, but you're not telling them what happened to you. You're missing the boat, right? And so leadership, your story mindset, it sets the tone for your team. It sets the tone for your drive, your mental game, and it's what allows you to continue to build and duplicate big leaders, strong leaders, because what story are they telling? Why did they say yes to you? Is it just about 3, or is it that what you saw happening to yourself in 3? What happened to you in 3? One of my favorite questions when you're first driving into writing your own story is you say, what happened to me when I said yes to 3? And you write that down. So here's the picture. Here's the bigger picture, right? Facts tell, stories sell. This is why I utilize the app and the other tools that the company offers to go out and be the facts, okay? Because the stories are what I'm after. When I'm going through a presentation even, and I'm going through products, yes, I do know a lot about the products because of my background in health and wellness. And I try to toe the line between 50% of that and 50% of sharing a story of how somebody felt on those products because I know facts tell, stories sell. So we're talking about connection over perfection because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek, what is your why? Your story makes your offer personal. If you've never read that book, Your Story is Your Why, or what is it? Start with Why. There we go, by Simon Sinek. It's a great read. And we're talking about trust building. So stories humanize you. They build credibility faster than data or sales pitches. So I know I said we're going to create a pitch. We are, but the story pitch is the pitch you want to pitch. Okay. We're going to be here all day. Pitch, pitch, pitch. 3 Ps, people, purpose, platform. Okay. All right. Let's go into duplication. When you teach others how to tell their story, you create simple systems that can be scalable because, again, they can't be disputed. So when you're out there and you're dialing for dollars and you and your team are all sharing your personal experience in 3, you're winning. Yay! You are winning because that is a piece that can consistently be duplicated. Everything else, there's a system for it. Okay. Confidence. Let's talk about your confidence. It's the fuel for consistent action. We want to ramp it up and turn it up, okay? And the thing about being in a business like this is it shows up everywhere. So I mean, it could be a great thing or not a great thing depending on the day or the moment, right, my friends? So we want to talk about how confidence, it helps you show up online and in conversation. It's very visible, right? It's in everything we do in e-commerce, especially when we're posting or sharing our story online or we're out there talking to people every day. And so our confidence is transfers into belief, and that's who people buy the most from, is the people who have a consistent belief, right? So in what they're offering, that's how you convert sales, is through having confidence and clarity. It's posturing. It's your confidence is your posture, right? Do you want to be slouched over and sad and gloomy and oh my gosh, woe is me? Or are you like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you what happened to me. I've had this incredible experience with this company called 3. I decided that I was going to build global distribution centers with them. And I can't wait. I'm so excited to quit my 9 to 5. I can't stop talking about this. I need you to put eyes on it for me. That's a different feeling, right? Without confidence, fear takes over. And fear of judgment is what stops you. A lot of times that's what creates failure, or being seen, right? Stops 90% of people from launching. It's hard to be vulnerable because your story feels a little bit vulnerable at first. And we're going to dive into imposter syndrome in a moment. So let's talk about the power of your story real quick. And we've kind of been weaving that through this, but your story isn't about perfection. No, in fact, when you can share a downfall and the win that occurred from it, right? The lesson, right? Maybe mistakes were made and lessons were learned. I had that happen to me today. I was just telling my friend about that, right? Mistakes were made, lessons were learned. How can you create what's not your highlight reel or the things that have happened to you and turn them into a positive in a way that it creates connection and relatability, and you cast the vision of what's possible? That's why your story is so powerful. Stories build trust, credibility, and emotional engagement, and you don't need to have arrived for people to relate to your journey. You do not have to have arrived. Now, I have different stories, right? Different strokes for different folks. I have different stories for different audiences. If I'm talking to a doctor and they're asking about specifically a product and I share a story about my personal experience on that product, that's a different story, right? If I'm talking to an entrepreneur, an influencer or something, and I'm showing them how to create sales in 3, and I'm talking about what I did in my first, how I went from 0 to a 6-figure income in my first 2 weeks, right? What did I do? I enrolled 22 people with the largest pack right away. I'm going to cast that vision and share that story. Now, that's not just a fact. I'm sharing the methodology for why I did that. That's a different story. Maybe you're in front of a room. You're at one of those, oh my gosh, why can I not remind? There's a word for this. Don't even, you'll come at me with it later, but it's like, when you're a part of a group and it's in your community. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm really, okay, I'll get back to it. Anyways, and you're pitching your business, that's a different story, and it's very short, right? It's a different story. So there's so much power in every aspect of your story, and you have to hone it in. You got to rein it in. Have those different stories. This is another reason why I'm so excited for convention coming up, because at convention, every time I go to convention, people are like, oh, Adrianne, I don't need the rah rah and all this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, rah rah. I'm there to capture stories to put in my tool belt, because if I hear somebody's success story on stage, the struggle, the trial they went through, how 3 solved that for them, I know if that happened to them, I'm going to run across somebody as I'm recruiting for my business that's had a similar experience, and I'm going to have a story for it. I'm going to be like, oh, you know what? That's crazy. At this last event I was at, I heard this woman say this. I think this would be perfect for you because of what I heard, right? Boom. Stories are your tools. Put them in your tool belt. You're going to use them every day in this business. I'm telling you what. Okay, here we go. Are you ready to use your notepad? The 3-part power pitch framework. Power pitch framework. Yes, we're sharing your story. What happened to me before? What challenge or pain point did you face? The breakthrough, what solution did you find through three, the products or the business, right? What happened when you said yes to three and you put the products in your body? What happened to you? What happened when you said yes to the business? What changed? What vision occurred? After I saw the presentation, right? What has changed or is changing because of it? So take a snapshot, take a screenshot, right? We're going from tired and sad to joyous and I can't believe, my experience, and you're creating the positivity to where you see yourself going. You want to come with me? You want to come with me? Look what I'm doing. This is why this is beneficial for you too. It's one of the most important pieces. Before, breakthrough, after. The after really is, what do you see three doing for you in your life? Riddle me that. Answer me that, friends. What do you see three doing for you in your life? It's your vision. That's where you cast the vision. So before, it's the pain point, the challenges. Okay. The breakthrough is what happened when you got started. And after is what has changed in you, right? There's a difference when you share a story. And I see it all the time in brand new brand ambassadors versus seasoned ones, who've been in for a couple months, is that their story changes. They start to learn to cast the vision for the business. They don't leave it out anymore. When you first get started, sometimes people, they're only confident sharing their product story because they haven't made enough money yet, or they think they need to have made thousands and thousands of dollars to share why they're excited about the business. It's not true, my friend. It's where you see yourself going. It's putting in a future pace moment in there that's going to change the direction of your story, the direction of your pitch. It's going to cast a bigger vision, and you're going to draw more people to you. Attraction marketing, because you're attracting out what you seek or greater, who you are or better. Well, what's the better? What do you want that could be better? Right? So that's what you're working on, and that's what three is providing. Because remember, three is a vehicle to get you where you want to go. It's not the end all be all. All right, let me give you an example of a product story. Now, I would take this and I would shorten it a bit, but it really wouldn't take long. Let me read through it with you. Okay. I got to move this. Hold on. There we go. Oh, no, that's business. Okay. Never mind. Okay. As a busy mom and entrepreneur, I was constantly exhausted. I relied on coffee all day to keep me up, but by the afternoon, I would crash hard. I was foggy, moody, and my sleep was awful. I felt like I was just thriving, I felt like I was just striving, just surviving. Oh my gosh, just surviving, not thriving. Probably should put my glasses on. Okay, then a friend introduced me to Three's product line. I was skeptical at first, but I decided to commit to 30 days. Within the first week, I noticed I didn't need my third cup of coffee, and I was more clear-headed, calmer, and had steady energy throughout the day. After, right, now I wake up with energy and focus that lasts. I'm more present with my kids and more productive in my business. I sleep deeper and my mood is way more balanced. These products didn't just support my body, they gave me back my peace and purpose. Whoa. When's the last time you shared a story like that? Right? Maybe you have. So I love this example. Now let's bring it together with a business example. Let's talk about a business story example. Take a picture of this. All right. All right, here we go. Before I joined Three, I was stuck in a cycle of burnout, juggling multiple jobs, had a hard time seeing my family, and constantly stressed about money. I loved the idea of earning income from home, but I didn't know where to start, and I was afraid of failing again. Now, you know what that tells me? This might be the friend that's calling me that's done a couple of these, right? I was afraid of failing again. Then my neighbor introduced me to Three in the team. The difference was that they have a powerful compensation plan, cutting edge wellness products I actually believed in, and a community of supportive leaders who were committed to helping me grow. I follow a simple system. I got plugged into mentorship and started sharing my story imperfectly, but authentically. Now I'm building a business that fits into my life. I'm earning additional income, gaining confidence, and helping others do the same. I feel purpose driven and aligned with something bigger than myself. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm not stuck anymore. I'm building a legacy. Whoa, right? That's a different mindset. Do you know what I'm saying? It's different. She's pitching out, or he's pitching out where he sees himself going. No longer stuck. I'm building a legacy. When's the last time you said that to somebody, right? So very, very powerful pieces. All right. And then guess what? What would you do if you have a combo story? You want to incorporate the products and the business. Well, mesh them together. And then, you know what? I don't know. Run it through ChatGPT and have it make it shorter. Have you seen that meme where that lady's like walking and ChatGPT's like a ghost and it's like ChatGPT's her best friend. They're going through life together. I feel like that. I like to use technology not as a crutch, but as a way for me to put in and help myself express what I'm trying to say better. So use AI for that reason. Anyways, not scary, totally helpful, and it works. And these stories are great, but you could make this shorter, you could make it longer. It just depends, right? But either way, you're putting your experiences in, and you're kicking out what happened before three. What was the breakthrough moment for you, and where you see yourself going, the after part of that. Now I'm doing this. Okay. All right. Common storytelling blocks. Well, maybe you say stuff like this to yourself: I don't have a story yet. I'm not successful enough. What if people judge me? Others say it better than I can. Well, in that case, let me tell you that the first 18 months in my first company that I ever built in, I knew that others could say it better than I could, and I capitalized on it. I became a really great inviter. I shared a little bit about my story, told them I was new, didn't know what I was doing, but I was very excited. And I know they're super business minded. Could they put eyes on it for me? And I booked out my team leader, boom, 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 every single day for at least 2 to 3 Zoom calls a day when I first started in this industry. And then, you know what? I learned a lot. I learned a lot. We call that, now I call that 7 practice Zooms, right? Where you're practicing with the person that sponsored you. And you guys are doing these calls and you're following the chart. You've downloaded, the presentation, you're getting really good at that. But I didn't present right away. I didn't know how to do that. I only knew how to share my story and book an appointment. So I don't want you to freak out because we've all felt this way. Every master was once a disaster. That's why you have this little block, because you're not sure yet how to create that. Now you have the framework. You're going to create that tonight. You're going to create the framework, and we're going to get rid of this little thing called imposter syndrome, because this is absolutely what's holding you back. You start to feel like a fraud, right? You're like, oh, my results aren't like Kim Wees or Holly DeMott's or something. Oh, I don't have results like that. I don't have results like Samson Lee. You say stuff like that to yourself. And you might not even notice. Check your thought, right? Am I saying that to myself? Am I saying some limiting beliefs, right? It's common among leaders and visionaries, and it's common among entrepreneurs. And really, actually, I think it's more common in women than it even is in our male counterparts. Interesting. There's a whole study on that women will, they easily compare themselves to others. Well, everyone compares themselves to others at some point, and that can lead to undue pressure and really feelings of inadequacy, which comes to these little lies that we tell ourselves. This imposter syndrome tells us, oh, stop trying, nobody likes you, you're not good enough, da da da. And then when somebody asks how you're doing, you're like, oh, I'm fine. Fine. Fine stands for all sorts of things. If you know what I mean by that, follow Tony Robbins. He says fine stands for that you're not feeling good, you're insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Okay, so you have to not be fine. Say, I'm good, I'm doing great, I'm fantastic. Change that. Change how you say I'm fine. I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but it's true. We're not all fine. We have struggles, especially in this business. People tell us no. People say yes, no, maybe so. All sorts of crazy stuff. I eat no for breakfast right now. There's a really great book called Go for No. And I can't remember the name of the guy, but you can put it in Amazon, Go for No. But I literally eat no for breakfast. I probably get a couple no's a day, and I just keep moving forward. And you learn to be resilient, right? Because I'm standing strong in my story. I don't have imposter syndrome about my story anymore. I really don't. I did in the beginning. So let's reframe it. It means you care and you want to grow. So when you're nervous, when you pull back, when you start judging yourself, right? You're in perfection mode. We want to get in progress mode. So confidence, it's built through courage, not perfection. Nobody here expects you to be perfect overnight. Like I said, every master was once a disaster, and unapologetically so. You cannot have it figured out all the time, right? That's what team is for. Together we achieve more. Okay. Together everyone achieves more. Thank you. All right. So we're going to feel the fear and we're going to do it anyway. So how can we get over that? We can embrace our wins and our successes. Well, Adrianne, I haven't had a big success in 3 yet. Really? Have you made $30 in 3? Have you made any commissions? Did you get a retail commission? Did you get a PIP? Did you do any of that yet? No, you're brand new. Okay. What are your results on the products? This is why I do something called the 5-day miracle phone call. When somebody comes in my business, I call them on day 5 of being on the products and I tell them something miraculous will have happened. Now, I'm future pacing that, right? But they think I'm crazy. They're like, how can something miraculous happen in 5 days? I'm like, because I said it's going to, and it will. I just do. I get on the phone with them, and in 5 days, sure enough, they're like, well, gosh, Adrianne, you're right. I actually am feeling a little bit better on the products. I do have a little bit more natural energy. You know what's weird? I put the Visage and I slept better. You know what else is weird? I took the Vitalite and I stopped overeating at night. That's weird. I'm like, that is an incredible story. Woo! Let me help you market that. Let's get that story told, right? That gets me excited. So we would do that. All right. So how are we going to overcome this? We're going to keep things in perspective. Help draw out not just your own story. That's why you have to do this homework. Sorry, I don't like the word have to. That's why you get to do this homework tonight as a thought leader in 3, because you're going to cultivate your own self-compassion. You're going to help others be able to use it to your advantage, being able to help them draw out their own stories. And it's going to create better sales and duplication overall. You get over imposter syndrome and create a compelling story for yourself. You can also write some affirmations. This is something I still do in my office. I wish I could show you. My whiteboards are endless. And I literally have in there like, my story is enough. I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. These are real things that are up there. I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. I lead by showing up, not by having all the answers. If that doesn't bring you a little bit of relief, you can breathe a little bit of relief. There is an answer for every question you have that will ever be asked to you ever. And you're not alone in that. So your job is to show up, right? In your authenticity, sharing your imperfect story with power and confidence, okay? And knowing you're not going to have all the answers right away. It's okay. You're still enough. So put up some positive affirmations, some things that you really need to rewire your mind to start believing, right? If you've ever had childhood trauma, I'm just saying it shows up here. It's like network marketing puts a mirror in front of your face and says, is this who you are today? Okay. And you get to say yes, no, or no. You get the option to say yes or no. So if you didn't like the way that things have been going, if you don't like the way your physical appearance is going, you don't like the way your financial experience is going, you don't like the way that you feel maybe frustrated at times or overlooked at your 9 to 5 job, or wishing you had a better retirement policy, or things like that, you get to rewrite the story. That's the whole point. That's the reason you said yes to this business. Most likely 90% of the time you're like, well, what if? And I want you to live in that what if, and I want you to rewrite anything that you've been telling to yourself that's negative, and ask yourself, what is the exact opposite of that? What am I really trying to accomplish here? Right? Rewire your mindset. Then that way you look up, you go into your office in the morning, or and you have some positive things to stare at, right? Maybe it's on your microwave or on your fridge or on your coffee maker, some positive things that you're rewriting that story and literally rewiring your mindset for you're going to believe bigger. And if there's one thing I can tell you, my friends, after all these years in this industry, it was a slow start for me too. I'm not going to lie. And I will tell you that I wished I had believed much bigger, much sooner. And you will too. And that's why you want to get this story down pat. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to write our story, right? Leadership is about authenticity, not authority. Remember that. Okay? It's about being in your authentic power. Yeah, we don't make people do anything. We don't get people, we don't do any of that. We attract what we are or better, right? So again, not authority, within your authenticity. That's why you got to be a little bit vulnerable and share. You got to share. So when you share your story, you give others permission to step up too. I had this thought, I had this idea, and then my friend came to me with this amazing company. I got so excited about it. I dove into the research. I can't believe what I found. I think this is it. Will you be the one to take a look at it for me? I'm looking for 10 people to be on my board of directors, right? Woo! That's different, right? So you're not an imposter, you're an impact maker. What kind of impact have you made so far? Are you scratching the surface, or are you riding the waves of the kind of impact that you're about to make, right? We want to make a big impact. So get over the imposter syndrome. I know it's easier said than done, but you got to get those affirmations out and rewrite that story so that your story is delivered with authenticity and power every single time. Okay? Take this. This is your homework for tonight. I know. Yes, I'm big on homework. Okay. You're going to write your three-part story in under 90 seconds. You're going to pitch it to like a family member or your upline or, a friend. Okay. And you're going to pitch it and you'll probably pitch it to your friend and they'll be like, how come you haven't told me about this? I mean, we got to share, we got to practice. We got to practice sharing it. You got to look in the mirror, practice coming from authenticity as you're looking in that mirror. Did I do that? Is that me? Yes, it is. That is me now. That is where I am going, the most important part of that story. Okay, you're going to create an affirmation mirror, either on a mirror or an office whiteboard like I have, and you want to really get this down pat. So that's your homework. Okay, we're going to do that tonight. I just want you to take action. Okay, that's it. There is nothing else. So we're going to dive into, we're going to take action. You guys, build it big, lead from your heart, lead with authenticity, get your story straight. Get a couple stories straight. Get a product story, a business story, both. Grab a couple other stories from other people. If you like something that was shared there, take it. The best copycat wins. As long as it's within your authenticity, as long as it's genuine for you, you're going to be sharing in the right frame of mind. Okay, so let's get this storytelling piece down. It's a huge part of leadership. I'm so excited for all of you guys to get out there and share something new, right? Do something a little bit different. Get creative. Yes, use ChatGPT. That's a shortcut, okay? If you're excited about it, do it. I promise it helps. And then practice. Practice what that means. Practice doesn't make perfect. You're still I don't like that word either, that everything has to be perfect all the time. I think what it is when you practice, you have conviction. Okay, and when you're clear about what your story is from beginning to end, right? Where there's clarity, guess what? There's confidence. So I want you guys to all go out, all 100 of you who are on this call right now, go out and create a compelling story that's clear to you, easy to share. You've got maybe a few different versions of it and you're confident in it. That would be my goal for you guys tonight. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you on the next Empowerment Tuesday. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.